Hey guys, it's Bree. If you didn't know, last week all of the Hugo pins went out. Or they were supposed to. If you haven't gotten yours yet, email. But that means that we're basically now officially in Hugo nominating season, which is really exciting. I have yet to set my nomination list for certain. There are some books that I'm considering, but I wanted to kind of do a call out and say, hey, if you have anything you think that I should read and think about nominating, you should totally put it in the comments. I'm really sorry. I am really excited. This is my first year actually nominating. I voted last year, but was not eligible for nomination. I didn't get my membership in early enough. And so I'm really excited, and I want to read all of the things. So I'm going to tell you what's already on my kind of short list. There are some books that you might be expecting that are not on here, some that you might love that you don't yet see. Let me know. I, of course, like everyone else, am human and have not been able to read everything that came out last year. But I am really excited. So let's get to it. So the first book on my list, and this is in no particular order, this is kind of just the order that I was able to pull them from off of my shelves. If you can't tell, my shelves are a mess. The order means nothing. The first thing on my kind of short list is Kim Stanley Robinson's Aurora. This came out about midway through the year. Kim Stanley Robinson is, of course, a pretty well-known person in science fiction. This is about a generation ship that gets to their destination, a planet called Aurora, and realizes once they get there that, maybe this wasn't as fully thought out as it could be. They didn't know very much about the planet. There are all sorts of obstacles, and they're left with the decision to kind of stay at Aurora, go and try and find a different planet, or go back to Earth. This is really very likable. It's actually told from the point of view of the ship's AI, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on in it. I have Ancillary Mercy by Leckie. Of course, most of you are probably familiar with Leckie's work. Ancillary Justice and Ancillary Sword, the two other books in the series, were both nominated for the Hugo. Ancillary Justice won when it was nominated. And it's the continuation, the third and final installation in the story of Breck, who is an AI. She kind of has a bunch of different extensions of herself that were called ancillaries, and at the very beginning of the story, she loses all of her ancillaries, so she's just kind of left in one body. She uncovers all of this stuff about what's going on in the Imperial Radish, or the Radkai, which is the kind of government and society in which she lives, and she's left to deal with the aftermath of it. I have Planetfall by Newman. This was such a good read. This came out really late in the year. Newman, of course, wrote the Split World series, which you might be familiar with. She's done some stuff with Angry Robot. This is actually through ROC. And this is about a woman who is living on a planet. She's the planet's 3D engineer, 3D printer engineer. And it's about this woman's struggle with some really traumatic stuff that was happening when they first arrived to this colony, and kind of the effects of someone's coming to their colony who they didn't expect to come there, basically. It also has a lot to say about mental illness, and it's just fantastic in that respect. I have Neal Stephenson's Seveneves. I loved this. When this came out, I read it. It's huge. It's something like 850 pages, and I think I read it in 2 or 3 days. This is a story where the moon is destroyed, and so humans have to kind of retrofit the ISS in order to survive. And so basically it happens during our time. It's kind of contemporaneous, so to speak, with us, maybe 50 years in the future. And the technology really isn't there to save humans, so they're all scrabbling about. It's about the people who are going to be working on the ISS, the process by which they're selecting people to go into space to try and survive, and all of the kind of ramifications of that. It's really good. My only hesitation is I think the last 300 pages of it really doesn't fit with the rest of the book. At that point, it kind of skips ahead into humanity's future, and it just... I wish it had been its own, like, sequel book. But this was a really fun read. If you haven't read it yet, you should. I have Terry Pratchett's The Shepherd's Crown. This is one I'm hesitant about. This is the last Tiffany Aching book, which I really have loved that series. And I think this is a good book in its own right. I know a lot of people have really loved it. I really loved it. At the same time, it's not quite up to par with some of Terry Pratchett's other stuff. But I would really like to see it given a nod. We'll see if it winds up on my nominating ballot. I probably won't tell you what actually winds up on my nominating ballot. But this is on my short list. I have Ian McDonald's Luna New Moon. I love, love, love this. This is kind of like Godfather in space. It's about a family called the Cortez, and they are living on a corporate colonized version of the moon. It's kind of like a Heinlein version of space exploration where there's no criminal law, there's just corporate law and civil law. So you can sue someone for doing something like tearing to shreds your factory, but they're not going to go to prison for it. They're just going to be indebted to you forever. And it's about this family that's trying to survive. They manage one of the companies. They own one of the companies on the moon. And they're about to switch powers generationally. So their matriarch is about to basically die. This is really good. I loved this one. I'm super excited too because the next book is coming out in a couple of months. And then I have The Traitor by Cormorant. This is one that I know a lot of people have really loved. I enjoyed a lot of aspects of it. I think it was really quite good. Perhaps not my absolute favorite of the year. I think that might be Luna New Moon. But definitely a good read.
A post-edit note. I forgot to include the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. I read it as an audiobook, so I listened to it instead of actually physically reading it, and of course, because I didn't have my physical copy with me, like a dummy, I forgot it, even though I reminded myself like 30 seconds before filming that I wanted to include it. So I do have the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin on my shortlist. You should definitely read it. It's fantastic.
So there you have it. There are some of the books I'm considering to put on my Hugo nomination list. Please let me know if there's anything I've missed, because there's so many books that come out in the year that I know I just can't have gotten all of them. I'm going to be holding off probably as long as possible until I put my nomination ballot in, because I want to give myself time to backlog any books that people think are really fantastic. As you might have noticed, these were all novels. I do have a novelette and a novella and a short stories and graphic novels short lists. With the exception of graphic novels, my lists are pretty short, so I won't be doing videos on there. Let me know if you want to see a graphic novels one. But there you have it. Let me know if you are voting and nominating in the Hugos. Let me know if you're going to be at Mid-Americon. I'm going to be there. And of course, like I said, if there's anything that I should be reading before I nominate. I hope you're having a fantastic reading week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.